Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, the IU men's soccer team hosted number 7 Notre Dame on Tuesday and came home with a huge win.
And the Hoosier football team will take on 4th-ranked Penn State this weekend. We've got the full preview. This is Hoosier Sports Night. Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Austin Matricardi.
And I'm Lydia Knoll. The men's soccer team took down 7th-ranked Notre Dame Tuesday night in their 6th shutout of the season. Our own Austin Girardelli has the details.
An in-state rivalry match between two top-ranked teams drew in the 11th largest crowd in Bill Armstrong Stadium history. Fans were at full force Tuesday night as the Hoosiers battled number 7 ranked Notre Dame. Indiana brought the pressure in the first, outshooting the Fighting Irish 10-2. The Hoosiers also racked up 7 corners in the first half alone. In the 66th minute, one key play from super subs Spencer Glass and Austin Poncho brought the 4,654 fans in attendance to their feet.
I think I can speak for most of our teammates. When Spencer gets the ball, we all get a little excited and want to dart into the box because we know we can put in a ball like that. We're able to swing it wide with Frank and just another attack. We just kept at it, so it worked out.
This was an important victory for the team as it served as redemption for some of the Hoosiers who remember last year's 4-0 loss to the Irish on the road.
It's a resume win for us as we move forward through the year, and our guys are really excited. Last year was a tough year, long trip back from South Bend, and this is a lot of smiles in the locker room, so really we're pleased for our players to enjoy this good win.
It means everything, battling home state team that usually is a high ranking with you. It's always kind of nice to get a big crowd and have a game like this where you can compete and battle, and to be able to beat them is one thing, but to be able to solidify the number 1 ranking and show the nation that we do deserve to be number 1 is everything.
The Hoosier defense stayed strong for the full 90 minutes, giving them their 7th shutout of the season and IU the 1-0 victory over Notre Dame. The unbeaten Hoosiers will look to continue their hot streak Saturday with a home game against Santa Clara. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Austin Girardelli.
Be sure you catch the team back in action at Bill Armstrong Stadium at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Over the weekend, the Hoosier volleyball squad played against Maryland at home. IUS TV sports reporter Andrew Walker has more on what went down.
This was the Hoosiers' second straight 3-0 loss, with the first loss coming from Illinois last Wednesday. The Terrapins came out and took the first set in commanding fashion, winning 25-17. The Hoosiers had little luck responding in the second set, as Maryland won 25-19. Indiana made something out of the third set, and after trailing 12-9, the Hoosiers made an emphatic comeback to take the lead 19-14. As Maryland and Indiana traded points late in the third set, redshirt sophomore Kendall Bierman and sophomore Hayden Hubers combined for 9 of the Hoosiers' 12 kills in the third set. But Maryland got a block on the last play to win it 26-24. Bierman tallied her 9th straight game with double-digit kills, but it wasn't enough as the Hoosiers' record dropped to 11-3 overall and 0-2 in Big Ten play. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Andrew Walker.
The women's volleyball team visited Purdue on Wednesday night and lost to the Boilermakers in 3 straight sets. Victoria Brizak moved closer to 1,000 career assists, and Hayden Huber's hitting percentage was above 600 in the Hoosiers' loss. Indiana hasn't won a set since September 16th. The Hoosiers continue their Big Ten schedule Saturday when they host Purdue. That game will start at 7.
After blowing out Georgia Southern at home, the IU football team is set to head out on the road this weekend. Our Joe Cantor has the preview.
The IU football team will face a significant test on Saturday when they travel to Happy Valley to take on the 4th-ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. It's sure to be a high-scoring affair when the two teams shoot it out Saturday, as they both come in averaging over 35 points per game. The undefeated Nittany Lions got their first real taste of adversity this past weekend when they needed over 350 all-purpose yards from Heisman hopeful running back Saquon Barkley. Penn State is absolutely loaded with playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, but none will draw the attention like Saquon Barkley, who after last week's performance is now the odds-on favorite in Las Vegas to win the Heisman Trophy. Meanwhile, Indiana was not tested in their last game as they rolled over the Georgia Southern Eagles 52-17. The Hoosiers reignited their run game behind a huge performance from freshman Morgan Ellison, whose 186 yards and 2 scores earned him Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors. Mike DeBoard also continued the quarterback carousel as Richard Lego and Peyton Ramsey split reps.
I feel like that we're a football team now that has a much better understanding of who we are and where our strengths lie, where are things we got to continue to focus on. And I think that, that gives you confidence as you move into conference play once again.
History will not be on the Hoosiers' side in this matchup, as they've only beaten Penn State once in the history of the series between the two schools. But if Tom Allen's Hoosiers want to break through, Saturday afternoon will be a big step towards accomplishing that. Reporting for IUS TV, I'm Joe Canner.
The matchup between the Hoosiers and the Nittany Lions will start at 3:30 p.m. on Big Ten Network. If you can't get to a TV, David Sugarman and Brad Davis will be on the call for WIUX on 99.1 FM.
IU women's soccer took on Purdue in the Golden Boot match over the weekend. Beat reporter Laura Lee Shallow was there to catch the action.
The Hoosiers came into the matchup with a 1-1 Big Ten record. The IU defense had its hands full with Purdue forward Maddie Williams, who leads the Big Ten Conference with 8 goals. Indiana controlled possession early and scored on a corner kick when defender Megan Scott placed the ball perfectly for forward Maya Piper to head the ball on the goal in the 25th minute. The Boilermakers scored an equalizer in the 64th minute. Both teams ended regulation with 1 goal apiece, and after 2 overtimes, the battle for the Golden Boot ended in a 1-1 draw. Indiana held a team that has been outscoring opponents 24-9 to 1 goal after 110 minutes of play. I asked IU head coach Amy Burberry what she thought of her team's defensive performance.
I thought we pressed well, we won the ball well, we jammed them when we needed to jam them, and we were very good 1v1. I thought overall our defensive performance was fantastic tonight from everybody.
Head coach Amy Burberry is now 2-1-2 all-time against Purdue. Indiana has 5 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties on the season. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Laura Lee Shallow.
On Thursday night, the women's soccer team was defeated by the Northwestern Wildcats at home. The loss pushes their record to 5-5-2 on the season. Indiana will return to the pitch on Sunday when they host the Fighting Illini of Illinois.
The football team might not be at home this week, but there are still plenty of opportunities to rack up some Crimson Guard reward points. Log into the Crimson Guard app anytime you're at a home sporting event to receive points. These points can be used to win gift cards, food, and IU gear.
These are the events that you can get to this week to earn those points.
The IU field hockey team took a trip to the East Coast for matchups with a pair of ranked teams, 23rd ranked Rutgers and 25th ranked Monmouth. Against Rutgers, both teams started slow until the 28th minute when Rutgers got on the board. Rutgers added another goal in the second half to win 2-0. The Hoosiers had 8 total shots, and senior goalie Katie Johnson did all she could do despite the loss, making 11 saves.
In Game 2, the Hoosiers faced off against Monmouth, where IU started the scoring with Claire Woods taking a rebound and putting it in the back of the net. Monmouth would respond to send it to halftime at 1-1. The game would eventually go to overtime, where Monmouth would score in the 84th minute to win 2-1. The Hoosiers will travel west to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes this Friday, when they'll look to earn their first win in Big Ten play.
The Indiana women's golf team went out to Idaho this week to compete in the Coeur d'Alene Resort Collegiate Invitational, featuring 18 teams from across the nation. The Hoosiers finished in 7th place as a team thanks to strong performances by freshman Mary Parsons and sophomore Elisa Pierre, who finished 20th and 26th respectively. IU also had golfers finish 34th, 36th, and 54th. The golf team will play closer to home next Friday when they begin competition in the Betty Lou Evans Invitational in Lexington, Kentucky.
The men's and women's cross-country teams headed to the East Coast over the weekend to compete in the coast-to-coast battle in Beantown, hosted by Boston College. The women's team was led by redshirt junior Catherine Receiver, who finished in second place. The Hoosiers also had runners finish in 8th, 12th, 26th, and 30th to finish second as a team.
The men's team finished third overall. Sophomore Ben Veach finished in 6th place, and Indiana also had placed runners in 10th, 27th, and 28th.
Both teams will return to action this weekend when they host the Sam Bell Invitational at the IU Championship Cross Country Course.
That's all we have for you today, but don't forget to like our page, IUSTV Sports, on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports. For Austin Matricardi, I'm Lydia Knoll, and we'll see you next week.